Let's look at retirement plans. During our session, our objectives are to go over contributions, qualified and non-qualified, look at ERISA, defined benefit and defined contribution plans, as well as other work-sponsored plans. When we look at qualified and non-qualified, this is referring to the tax status of the money going into the plan that we're contributing to. If we're funding our plan with qualified money, that means that the money qualified for a tax deduction in the current year. That means all of the contributions are pre-tax and there is no cost basis. Earnings in a plan grow tax deferred, so when we withdraw the money, take it out, the tax implication is going to be this. Everything is taxed at ordinary income rates. If a plan is funded with non-tax qualified dollars, that means that the contributions did not qualify for a deduction in the current year. In other words, the plan is funded with after-tax or post-tax dollars. Since we've already paid tax on the contributions, we now have a cost basis, but the earnings still grow tax deferred. Earnings in the account grow tax deferred, and we don't pay tax on the money until we withdraw it, if it is subject to taxation via the IRS. So what are some different types of plans that are funded with qualified monies? Traditional 401ks, 403bs, most traditional IRAs, and KEO plans. Plans that are funded with non-tax qualified dollars include like a Roth 401k, Roth IRAs, non-qualified variable annuities, some traditional IRAs, Coverdell educational savings accounts, and 529 plans. Please note that individual retirement plans, IRAs, as well as Coverdell's and 529 plans will be addressed in a separate video. Now let's take a look at the Employee Retirement Income Securities Act that was passed in 1974. ERISA was enacted to protect employees from their employer. It requires that a plan be in writing, and it cannot discriminate in favor of higher compensated employees. ERISA only oversees and develops regulation for the private sector. That includes corporations and sole proprietors. The plan must have a written vesting schedule. Vesting refers to ownership, and it can either do a 3-year cliff vesting or a 5-year 20% per year investing. The most common defined benefit plan is a pension plan. Everybody has heard of these. These are non-contributory, so the employee, do not put any money aside in order to get the benefit. The benefits are defined, and contributions may vary. So with a pension plan, the benefit out at retirement is based upon a formula that the trustee, along with the corporation, set up. So let's take a look at a 401k, our primary defined contribution plan. This is a salary deferral program, so part of my salary goes into the plan with pre-tax dollars. The employer can also make contributions into my retirement account. Loans are allowed, but every 401k has their own plan document, so you'd have to take a look at the plan document to see what kind of loans you're allowed to take from your 401k. The maximum contribution limit for 2025 is $23,500. If an investor is age 50 or older, he or she can add an additional $7,500 to their account for a total of $31,000 per year as of 2025. Withdrawals are going to be taxed as ordinary income once the investor reaches age 59 and a half or older and they start taking payments. They also have something called a Roth 401k, which is also a defined contribution plan that is set up through salary deferral. But here, the account, this 401k, is funded with after-tax dollars, similar to the Roth IRA. So I've already paid tax on the money I'm putting in. Then, when I'm in a likely higher tax bracket at withdrawal, I don't pay any tax. The employer can also make contributions, and the contribution limits are the same as for a Roth as they are for a traditional. For an investor that's up to age 50, it's $23,500 per year. If you're age 50 or older, you can add an additional $7,500. Withdrawals from a Roth 401k are considered to be tax-free as long as the investor has held the account until they're 59 and a half. So let's take a look at a 403b plan. These are not ERISA plans. These are for nonprofit organizations like schools, teachers and preachers, right? So they look and work like a traditional 401k, but they're a qualified plan. They're not even in an ERISA plan. We typically refer to these as tax-deferred or tax-sheltered annuities. They invest in annuities and mutual funds. With a 403b, you can start taking withdrawals at age 59 and a half and must withdraw money by April 1st, following the customer's 72nd birthday, and upon taking distributions, all money received is subject to ordinary income tax. A KEO plan or an HR 10 plan is an account for somebody who is self-employed. That means that they're doing business as, and everything is taxed under their own Social Security number. A KEO plan is under the umbrella of ERISA and has a maximum contribution of 25% earned income, which is capped at $70,000 for the year 2025. So in this session, we have talked about the difference between qualified and non-qualified when it comes to contributions. We've also discussed ERISA and defined benefit plans, as well as defined contribution plans. So we're going to wrap up talking about other work-sponsored retirement plans, like 401ks, Roth 401ks. That concludes our session. I'll see you in the next video.